Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Pocono Raceway opened for business in 1969, featuring a 3/4 mile oval. The 2.5-mile speedway was completed in 1971 and immediately began hosting one of the crown jewels in the IndyCar Racing Triple Crown of 500-mile races. Local hero Mario Andretti paddled the likes of A.J. Foyt, Al and Bobby Unser, Johnny Rutherford, and Gordon Johncock in IndyCar races. NASCAR was also at Pocono from the early days, as witnessed by the fact Richard Petty won NASCAR's inaugural Pocono 500 in 1974. Pocono also staged a number of top-flight sports car races on its combination road course and oval layouts in the 1970s and 80s. Even modifieds ran on the original 3/4 mile oval encircling the main pit area. Tonight, it's race number 5 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Pocono Raceway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, bringing you the 5th race of the season of the IROC Challenge Series, brought to you by Coles County Speedway. Getting ready to kick things off here this evening. Practice, qualifying, part of the warm-up already in the books. Let's get down to it here. The race details this evening: 60 laps the race distance, 84-degree ambient temperature, nice and dry, 5% humidity, cloudy skies, rather breezy here in Pocono, a 16-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature down to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working with a full fuel load on board this evening, 4 sets of tires over the wall if needed. They do have one faster pair. That is a rule that has been changed in this season, allowing the drivers at least one quick fix if it comes down to it. 3 green-white checkers if necessary. Taking a look at the race points coming into tonight. Correction, race advertisement. The Care for Kids 200 coming up here relatively soon, October the 28th. If you're interested, check these guys out. $15 entry fee as a minimum. Additional donations will be welcomed. It's all for a good cause. Help out children in need. Again, the 28th of October, they're going to be in the trucks at Michigan Speedway for 100 laps. It's going to be a blast. We know how fun these trucks are to run at Michigan. Check them out, iroc-series.com/care-for-kids for more details. Talking more about points, there it is, coming into tonight. Brian McCann, Garrett Johnston, Brandon Mefford, the top 3 in the standings. They are locked in to the playoffs. Adam Benefield 4th, Doug Wysocki 5th. Top 5 will advance as well. Chris Wally, Mike Cook, Tim Schofield, Neil Quick, and Zachary Kleek. That rounds out the top 10. You see Steve Durbin down there in 15th. He does have a win on the season as well, so that's going to lock him in additionally. So let's go down trackside, see here where everyone's shaking out in this final warm-up session. Right now, top time is the 85 of Mike Cook, a 54.42. And we'll check things out a little deeper as far as our starting grid here in just about 1 minute and 7 seconds. Oh, Mefford doing a hot pit entry with no speed limit back in the day. Sometimes you wonder if they could get away with that now. I don't think so. Cook in the number 85 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. With the Baltimore Ravens paint scheme on board. Just about 15 seconds left in this session before we jump right into the race itself. So that wraps up the warm-up session. Mike Cook stays on top throughout. Not everybody took to the track. And just want an update, guys. Kyle Turzak was not here last week, but even tonight he was in a practice session, had some issues with his pedals. Throttle pedals sticking on him, going wide open all the time. As much fun as that would be here at Pocono, that's not what you want. So let's see if he's got that squared away this evening. Has not to deal with those gremlins. But without further ado, let's get to it. Our starting grid for race number 5 of the IROC Challenge Series. On the pole position from Charity Motorsports, yet again, it's the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Outside, front row, missed it by a full tenth of a second. Neil Quick's going to start second in his number 2 machine. Row number 2, Mike Cook, Brent Butler. Row 3, it's Brian McCann and Steve Durbin. Tim Schofield and Brandon Leclerc will round out row number 4. Row 5, Garrett Johnston, Doug Wysocki. Starting 11th, it's the 75 of Chris Wally. Matt Kopp in the number 12 machine will roll. 50 machine will roll 12th. Sorry, guys, coming back from the Glen, trying to get the brain fog out of here. Todd Kleek in the 45, starting 13th. Newt Quick will roll 14th. Rodney Uberbaker, the number 17, will start 15th. Zachary Kleek, 16th. Adam Benefield, 17th. Cole Owens, 18th. 19th is Larry Bruner. 20th, Josh Funkhauser. 21st, shotgun on the field of 51 of Kyle Turzak. That's going to be fun to watch. Hopefully he's got his gremlin squared away with those brake pedals, throttle pedals, all the stuff. If he does, it's going to be real entertainment to watch him work through the field. But there it is, your starting grid here for race number 5 from the Pocono Raceway. Field starting to roll off the grid. We'll be racing the next time by. Again, race details for this evening. 60 laps the race distance, 85 degrees, very dry, cloudy skies, very breezy, 96-degree track temp, full load of fuel at 100%, 4 sets of tires over the wall, 1 fast repair, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, if and only if we need it. Brandon Mefford, Neil Quick going to lead the field to green. Pace car makes the hard left into pit lane. Barney with the green in hand. It's called for. It waves, and we're underway from Long Pond, Pennsylvania at the Pocono Raceway. Brian McCann steps out early here as soon as he gets past start-finish. Had a good jump. Might be to the inside. 3 wide into turn number 1. And who's in the middle but Mike Cook? Did they make contact? McCann might be going around here. McCann still trying to save it. Smacks the wall. We got a truck upside down. Well, that's turn 1, folks. Try to get a look at it here in just a moment. In fact, I think we do have it. Big time impact. Not sure who that was going for a ride. I think it's the 17 machine. Rodney Uperbaker. I'm working on it, folks. Let's rewind this a little further here. I want to get a look to see really what happened. We saw, obviously, the 3-wide run into turn number 1. We'll back it up further here. Now you can see it. You got Neil Quick up to the outside and the 76 of Brent Butler. Mike Cook in the middle. McCann goes to the bottom here. Sends it 3 wide. He's plenty of room down in the bottom, though. And I think Cook's just trying to get squared away. McCann sees it starting to unfold, and he checks up a bit, makes a little bit of contact with the 85, and then it's the 42 trying not to run him over. That's Steve Durbin. And then there you see it, the 17 running in the back of the 12. Uberbaker goes on his lid. But this is what they were talking about with that first fast, that additional, that one fast repair that this league's starting to run. Is it kind of, it's a get out of jail free card here when something like this happens in turn 1, lap 1. Check on Tim Schofield here and see how he's looking. He was involved in that. He was the truck that Uberbaker ran in the back of. Looks to be cleanly repaired. I assume Schofield may have burned that fast repair. Schofield's going to take a set of tires here. I don't know if he really hurt them all that bad, but nevertheless, he's going to bolt them on. And he sits, so he's got some additional repairs to get taken care of here. Maybe he did not use that fast repair. So just like that, 3 laps in under our first caution of the afternoon. First lap, first turn. Ryan McCann tried to push the issue, tried to get all he could there on that initial start. It's really what you got to do in many of these cases. You can take advantage, get a decent jump on the guy that you're fighting against, or really everybody that's in front of you. Take big handfuls of positions. Seemed that that's what McCann was aiming for. So, as we run under the caution flag, should see the pace car lights extinguished. There they go. So that puts us on the 1 to go. Rodney Uberbaker, he's going to hit pit lane here as well late. Obviously getting repairs made. I have to assume that's a fast repair because that truck looks just like it rolled off the transporter. Little fuel top off here. It's going to start out back anyway. You might as well just get a couple extra drops of Sunoco Racing fuel. Get back in the mix here. So we're getting ready to go green. So things have remained the same here, at least on the front row. It's going to be Brandon Mefford and Neil Quick to take the restart now. It'll be lap 5 when the green drops. Brent Butler in third. Then it's Mike Cook, Brandon Leclerc, Brian McCann, Steve Durbin, Garrett Johnston, Doug Wysocki, Chris Wally, the top 10.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Ken jumps to the inside on Cook yet again. Meanwhile, Mefford out to a decent advantage already. A couple of truck legs over Butler in the second position. McCann up to fourth, pressuring Neil Quick. Quick maintains the spot. He'll close the door on Mike Cook out of turn 2. Force of habit. Now we're in turn 2. And now we're in what? Turn 4. It'll be turn 3. There's only 3 here at this tricky triangle. Still watch the fight. Now we got to fight for the race lead. Butler looks to the bottom of the racetrack, slips up just a bit, has to check up to avoid getting into the left door of Mefford, loses the momentum off turn 3. Mefford maintains the top spot. Neil Quick takes back second, has a run himself, might be looking for the lead on the entry to turn number 1. Stays put for now. As Cook drives it in a little deep, goes to the high side. Butler goes up as well, slips up the racetrack. Now McCann, seeing an open door, jumps to the bottom of the 76, trying to move his way towards the front. Wants to battle it out with these guys. Just barely slots in front of Garrett Johnston for the 5th position. Cook working up the racetrack again. I don't know if that's intentional or if he's just having some handling problems, but it does not seem to be paying off, at least for the time being. Butler under attack now from Brian McCann as Mefford continues to lead. Mefford trying to change lanes, break the draft. The rattlesnake on the front stretch now in full effect. Mefford, Quick, Butler, McCann, Johnston, the top 5, and that's just for now. Finally out of that massive turn number 1. Mefford pulling Neil Quick down the straightaway. Turn number 3 is alongside Mefford on corner exit. This for the race lead. Mefford leads it this time, and Quick's going to have to tuck back in. He gets in cleanly. There's not much room to spare, but he got it done. Another lap in the books. Neil Quick now shown as the race leader as they cross start finish, and he's got some distance back to Mefford, 3/10 plus back to the 83 in second. Meanwhile, Brian McCann has jumped up into the 3rd position, still under attack from the 76 of Butler. Butler slips up the track, has to get out of it just a little bit. Avoids contact with the 3, but gives up some track position, slips back about a truck length, maybe 2. Now he's got to work fighting with Garrett Johnston. McCann making a look to the inside on Brandon Mefford. Now this for the 2nd spot. Mefford trying to break the draft a bit here on the front straightaway. This massive straightaway. He could land a bomber on this thing. But these trucks, not very aerodynamic. They punch a massive hole in the air. Effort trying to not provide that draft assistance to the 3. It's kind of a fine line that you need to walk when you do that, though. Yes, you're going to break the draft, but you run the risk of scrubbing some speed, and if the truck that's in front of you doesn't do it, well, now you lose the draft from that lead vehicle, so that could be an issue as well. So far, so good, though. Top 3 run single file, so I'll say top 4 with the 15 of Johnston rolling into the picture. 10 laps in the books of 60 here at Pocono Raceway. Out of turn 3, yet again. Quick leads into the line. Then it's Mefford, McCann, Johnston, Cook. Then in 6, Butler. Then Brandon Leclerc, Steve Durbin, Chris Wally, Doug Wysocki rounding out your top 10. Quick looked a little loose on the exit of turn 2 for just a moment. Slight correction, but maintains the spot. But man, the battle hot and heavy here for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Befford running a different line, working the outside line. McCann jumps to the bottom. McCann to 2nd place. Does he get clear? Mefford's going to try and battle back. McCann's kind of clear there. Not close enough, though. Doesn't want to slide up in front of the 83 and risk taking himself out. Stays alongside of Mefford down the short chute. On board with Brandon Mefford, trying to hold off a hard-charging Brian McCann. Brian really does enjoy this place, but he's having some struggles here getting around the 83. Terry Johnston had the truck all the way down to the apron there, trying to get to the inside of McCann. McCann started to shut the door, but wasn't willing to go that low. Now he's back on the attack, trying to get around Brandon Mefford. Sun starting to peek out here. Pocono Raceway. We'll see what that does to the track temp. We're about 96 degrees Fahrenheit when we got things underway here this afternoon. Let's take a look at it now. Track temperature about the same, still about 97, but if that sun starts to come back out and lay that sunshine on this asphalt, we might see those temperatures come up, and it very well could change the track conditions and handling characteristics of these trucks. We'll see if that presents itself, but meanwhile, it's still single file here at the front pack. 14 laps in the books. Neil Quick still out in front, now 0.6 of a second ahead of Mefford and McCann. I think McCann realizes he might just be a bit faster than Mefford, but cannot get clear, because if he didn't think he could get by and start to drive away, I don't think he'd be pushing the issue this hard, because all that it's doing, it's allowing the two of Quick to get out in front further and further. Now the draft does help a little bit on the straightaway. We talked about that. But when these guys get side by side, that's where Quick is going to start to stretch out that advantage. Second and third through the short chute. McCann back to the inside, trying to get around Mefford. Might have him here. We'll see if Mefford's going to carry some extra momentum out of turn 3. Looks like he's going to hang on the door. Swings it wide off the corner, back to the stripe. Mefford's going to have the spot and the speed. Slides back in front of Brian McCann, that is. Johnston holds on to the 4th position over Mike Cook. Cook all over the back bumper. Cook seems to be just a tick faster, but same scenario we're seeing with Brian McCann. Can't get the pass executed just enough to get through. Slides a little deep, might have lost the nose. Some arrow push through the tunnel turn, now into the short chute. Big time correction. That truck is all kinds of loose, and Johnston gets the wall up at 3. Johnston loses a couple now. Mike Cook up to the 4th spot. Brent Butler all over him. Little bump from the 76 into the corner. We'll see if Cook can carry the truck up the racetrack there without an issue. The 76 of Butler, though, a little loose on exit, keeps his foot in it. Tires certainly starting to get a little warm here at Pocono Raceway. Things getting a little slippery, a little greasy. Butler with the run out of 3. Doesn't do the bump, just gets to the inside. We'll see what he has in turn number 1. Butler drives it way down deep into turn 1. Pass executed. Now Cook may battle back. He had the run on the exit because he took the higher line, so he could carry that momentum down the Long Pond straightaway into this tunnel turn that we're approaching right now. Butler with a car, or truck length that is. Really good exit speed through the tunnel there. Puts a couple more truck lengths on the 85 of Cook. So Butler handily takes the 4th spot. Starts to increase that advantage over Mike Cook. Meanwhile, back up front, the lead that Neil Quick had just a bit ago has evaporated, and he's got Brandon Mefford and Brian McCann on his back bumper. Talked about how Mefford and McCann being side by side was allowing Neil Quick to get away. Well, they stopped playing peekaboo and got single file and started to reel him in. And here's the battle we get to watch because of it. Top 3 drivers all fighting for the 1st spot out of turn 1 down the Long Pond straightaway. Quick drives it in deep. Mefford early to the brakes, almost caught Brian McCann off guard. Now Mefford reels him in big time. Quick didn't get the exit of the corner that he wanted, and it gives an opportunity to Brandon Mefford. Quick's going to hang on the right rear of Mefford off turn 3. Quick just inches off the wall on exit, coming back to the stripe. Mefford's going to lead it. Right on board with Brian McCann as he watches the top 2 fight it out for the race lead. McCann runs in 3rd, just waiting for a mistake out of these 2 that he can capitalize on. Now, if you guys notice that, if you guys come from a racing background in any way, shape, or form, but you saw Brian McCann stay wide on the throttle, almost getting into the back of Brandon Mefford, and instead of lifting, switched lanes, got him behind Neil Quick so he can stay wide open just an extra second or 2 longer rather than lift or rather than push the 83 by Neil Quick. Butler now reeling the top 3 in as well. Quick going back to the whip. McCann just trying to find any way possible to maintain or increase his pace. Mefford retakes the lead from Neil Quick, though. Now they're top 4, single file. Quick swaps lanes, tries to think about a crossover here, but I think he should have just stayed in lane unless he was just trying to let McCann go. Looks to be the case as Brian McCann up to the 2nd spot. A couple of truck lengths off the back bumper of the 83 as we cross the stripe. It'll be lap 22 that goes up on the leaderboard. Gosh, look at these guys. These 4 trucks at the front of the field just trying to drive in the tire tracks of one another. Curious what the fuel window is here tonight. Get my apologies. It's been a hectic day. Started in a campground at Watkins Glen as we packed up our belongings and drove back to Rochester. Still unpacking, but we take the time out here to broadcast this race. Pocono is a fun one to call, and man, these guys are certainly putting on a show. But at 100% fuel, it's been a while since I've been in these trucks, but how far can they go on a full tank? That's the question. I'm thinking this might actually be a one-stop race. It's kind of my guess. We'll see. I guess with that first caution, it may have given these guys the ability to do this on one stop, but we'll have to see how it unfolds. Beginning of this lap, you saw Brandon Mefford drop that truck all the way down to the inside wall. I don't think I've seen anybody go that far to the bottom. See what happens this time, by as we're in turn number 2, down to the short chute yet again. Truck length advantage back to Brian McCann. That's looking like about a 10th and a half, maybe 2. Oh, big slide for McCann off turn number 3. Now, I guess the question I've got as well is typically we've seen this season the IROC Challenge Series does throw one competition caution in the early stages, typically before halfway. But this being such a large track, 60 laps the race distance, maybe they wait and just do it at halfway. It could be lap 25. Meanwhile, I think Chris Wally may have gotten the wall just a moment ago. It was either Wally or Johnston, a similar color scheme on those trucks. Either way, both drivers seem to be continuing under power at speed. Lap 24 about to wrap up. Mefford out of 3. McCann much more stable this time through. There it is again. Mefford all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Look at that giant, well, it's not really a giant snake, the 4-truck snake. Crazy thing is, if you guys have watched this race on TV in real life, you see these guys come off turn number 3, and it is just like a slithering snake down the front straightaway. The entire field just trying to stay in the draft of the lead truck that's in front of them. Top spot heavily contested right now. McCann and Mefford doing battle. McCann has not yet been able to fully clear the 83 of Mefford. They roll out of turn number 3 yet again. And there it is. Caution comes out. The completion of lap 25. That'll be our break, our competition caution. Brandon Mefford will lead to that caution flag. Drivers will have an opportunity to hit pit lane for some much-wanted tires. Again, fastest lap of Brandon Mefford's, just under 55 flat. His last lap was almost 57 seconds, so 56:57 to be exact. So there's a bit of fall off there. Quick, as for instance, his fastest lap was a 55 flat. His slowest, not slowest, but most recent was a 56:86. So do the math on your own there. And that's almost a full 2 seconds of fall off as far as lap times are concerned in that aspect. These drivers are going to want to try and catch the pace car here and get down pit lane momentarily. Pace car's in the middle of one. Well, just one. I still think you can call this track a 4-turn racetrack. That's just my opinion. Turn 1 is so big. The radius is crazy on it. You could absolutely characterize that as 2 corners, at least the way that they do on the typical ovals here in NASCAR. So, field gets caught up to the iRacing pace car. We're going to see pit stops, I believe, this time by. My expectation is you'll see everybody come to pit lane here. So far, it's the top 10 plus. Yeah, that's going to be everybody. Oh, Nuke Quick might be staying out here. He's going up the leaderboard, so he's going to stay out, try to get a lap led, as long as he can get there before the leaders do in pit lane. Looks like he's got her done. So Brandon Mefford, Brian McCann, Neil Quick into pit lane. See them all there. Mike Cook, Butler. Everybody going up on the jack. Pit work complete just like that. Mefford wins the race off pit road. Brian McCann will be second. Then Neil Quick. Then Garrett Johnston. Yeah, Nuke Quick did stay out of the racetrack. We'll see if he opts to pit this next time by, but he's the lone soldier in behind the pace car. Very long lap under yellow here at Pocono. You're looking at almost a full 2 minutes to get around this place onto the caution speed. The Nuke's going to come down now. Jumps on the brakes before pit entry. So the 4 picking up a lead lap, or lap led. But he comes down to pit this time. It's going to give Brandon Mefford back the top spot. And we're getting ready to go back green. We'll get the restart here at lap 30. That'll leave us 31 laps to see the checkered flag. I know you're doing the math in your head. Trust me, it's right. So come to find out, looks like Kyle Turzak did not get his pedal situation squared away. I was just starting to think, we haven't heard from Turzak yet. But tough break for the 51 as he was unable to get hardware squared away before we went green tonight. Will be credited with 21st place when this one finishes up. So, front row as we come back to green, it's Brandon Mefford and Brian McCann. Pace car makes the hard left. Barney waiting to get the command to throw that green flag. There it is, and we're back underway from Pocono Raceway. Real Quick did not get away from the restart as well as he had liked. He's going to lose a little bit of track position, but squeaks in behind Garrett Johnston. Field through the tunnel turn, back to the short chute. Brian McCann, a truck length off the back bumper of Mefford, back into turn 3 yet again. McCann up the racetrack a little further than Mefford. Mefford changes things up. He blocks that run that the 3 had out of 3. Meanwhile, Newt Quick's going to hit pit lane yet again. I don't know if he received a penalty on pit exit, but nevertheless, he's back on pit road. Another battle here. We watched the 21 of Brandon Leclerc shut the door on the 34 of Wysocki. In turn number 2. And a connection issue. That was Steve Durbin just popped out for just a brief moment. Comes back in just as fast. Remember, Steve Durbin won the opening race this season at Daytona. Then it was Brian McCann at Auto Club. Garrett Johnston picked one up at Lucas Oil Raceway. And Brandon Mefford, our most recent winner, out at Nashville last week. Do we see another winner, a new winner here at Pocono? Or are we going to get our first repeat winner? Time will tell. Laps ticking by. We are just past halfway here at Pocono. Mefford leads McCann. Johnston, Quick, and Butler. That's your top 5. And we have a caution. Truck backwards in turn number 2.
Rag, clean this mess up here. Coming into the box is the part that I'm really
Todd Cleek in the 45 facing the wrong direction. Gets it righted. Is able to drive away from the scene with limited damage to the rear section of that F-150. Let's see if we can catch this. Oh. Cleek comes down, hits the 12 hard. I want to get a better look at this. Let's stand by. Quick replay, restart, rewind. Now I'm wondering if Cleek was just super loose. We'll try to get a better angle on it here. So you see Cleek's entry here. Schofield drives it to the bottom of the racetrack. Yeah, the 45 is loose big time. The rear end's starting to step out, which, of course, means the truck is turning too well, and the rear end does not want to stay into the racetrack. Collects the 25 in the meantime. And I don't know who's in the 25 as of yet, because I don't see a 25 listed in our timing and scoring at all. So someone's got the wrong number there. We'll try to get that squared out. Larry Bruner, there it is. Should be a 44 on that AC/DC machine. It's a big hit in the driver's door. Some drivers opting for pit lane here yet again. Steve Durbin leading the charge of that group. Great helmet, by the way. So keep in mind, these drivers are all on pit road at lap 27. But knowing they've got, I don't want to say plentiful, but a relatively plentiful amount of extra tires over the wall. I think these guys are trying to gamble a bit. They're not quite at the pace of the top 3 drivers right now. So hey, if you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader. So let's try something different, bolt on some freshies, see what we can do with this. Go from there. We were just about to step to an HBR TV side-by-side break. We're going to hold off on that, of course. We'll jump to it here as we get back to green. We'll give it a lap or so and make sure everybody minds their P's and Q's before we do it. Then we'll get back at it. So pace car lights have gone out. Again, it's about a 2-minute lap here under yellow to get back around. So if you need to make a run to the kitchen real quick or the restroom, you got a little bit of time. Go do it right now before we go back to green. Back on the front row, though, it's going to be Mefford and McCann. Garrett Johnston, Neil Quick. Brent Butler, the top 5. Chris Wally up into the 6th spot. Wally stayed out, did not pit this time. First driver with fresh tires, I believe, is going to be Brandon Leclerc. He'll restart his number 21 in the 10th spot. We'll see how advantageous that is after just a handful of laps after the initial pit stops at the field. And I do mean the field. Everybody came down and pit with the exception of Nuke Quick. Other than that, everybody put on their fresh tires. Real quick, though, he's got to get caught up to these guys. This is a real disorganized restart, it looks to be. I know we're only in turn 2. They'll probably straighten things out a bit, but you want to get tightened up. That truck in front of you, what a lot of guys will try to do is to lay back a bit so they can get on the throttle a little bit earlier, try to build a run coming to the restart. And time it so you don't make that pass before you cross the start-finish line, because that's a big no-no. Pace car is in.
Green flag.
Leffert gets a decent jump over the 3 of Brian McCann. They head down into turn number 1 yet again. Mefford with the advantage, not a big one by any stretch. You see it right there, just about a yard between the 83 and the 3. Same can go between McCann and Johnston as they're out of turn 1. Heel Quick runs fourth. Butler to his inside, and Mike Cook there stalking the rest of them. Oh, Brian McCann a little loose out of turn number 2. Stays out of the wall, but it was a tight one. Back into turn 3 here. McCann still right there. Less than a truck length off the tailgate of Mefford. Out of 3. McCann keeps it firmly planted into the racetrack. We'll see some drivers here further back through the field. We'll check out Brandon LeClaire. He's already up 1 position. He's cleared Steve Durbin. Durbin made a pit stop as well. Sun peeks back out. If that really becomes an issue here, if the sun comes out here and stays out for a while, these guys on fresh tires really might have the advantage. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of laps between the first pit stop, at least the stage pit stop or competition caution pit stop, however you want to classify it, and this most recent caution. With 24 to go. It's a lot of drivers there outside and just now inside the top 10 with fresher tires than our race leaders. It might give them a bit of an advantage to reel them in. Meanwhile, Steve Durbin gets through, passes Josh Funkhauser for position, now working on the 21 of Leclerc yet again. Top 3, man, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Mefford still out in front. Brian McCann over Johnston, Quick, and Cook. 23 laps, a little less to go. We're going to step aside for our only HBR TV side-by-side break. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco.
Back at Pocono Raceway, 19 laps to go. Mefford still large and in charge. But one mistake away from giving up that top spot to Brian McCann, as he has been relentless this entire race. Meanwhile, we're going to battle for the third spot as Neil Quick jumps to the inside on Garrett Johnston. I don't know, you always got to wonder about Neil Quick. We saw him slipping back there for a little while, but man, he is good at taking care of his tires. That very well could be the issue. We got a car into the wall. No, we do not. Man, I saw someone out of turn 3 there. I thought he was going to pound the inside wall. Looks like he got through, but back to this battle for third. Quick slides back in behind Johnston. Garrett holds on to it for the time being, but that battle has opened up Neil Quick to be at risk of losing yet another spot, maybe two. As Mike Cook goes around, and Butler's going to go through, and so is Leclerc on that newer set of tires. Leclerc's only picked up a couple of positions, but nevertheless, as we close in on the end of this race, he's been able to pick off more and more, and he is right there trying to get, well, even more. Neil Quick there, battling with Brent Butler. Leclerc behind. We got battles all over the racetrack. Outrace lead here. Brian McCann took a look, has to slam the door on Garrett Johnston. Didn't realize the 15 was rolling the way he was. So McCann trying to put one eye out in front and one on the rear view mirror. Mefford continues to lead, then McCann, then Johnston. Now Mike Cook has entered the chat. Brett Butler now also in the 5th position. 76 has looked fast here tonight. Curious to see what he could do if he could be out in that top spot or even in the race lead with some clean air at his disposal. Once again, the sun peeking out here, laying some sunshine on the racetrack. Take yet another look at that track temp. It's remained about 97. We'll keep it here for a little bit, see if it starts to creep up, but wind still at 16 miles an hour. McCann now gets alongside Mefford. It's the first time we've seen the 3 work to the outside. We'll see if he can make this one pay off. Oh, they drive it deep into turn number 2, side by side for the race lead here at Pocono. Closing laps, 15 to go as they cross the stripe here. McCann finally gets clear, takes the top spot for Mefford, but Mefford on the attack back to the bottom of the racetrack. McCann up the racetrack. We'll see if he can carry that momentum to defend. Back to the stripe. Brian McCann holds on to it for the time being. 15 to go. Now it's Brian McCann out in front of this field. And Mefford, Johnston, Cook, Butler, Leclerc 6th, Durbin 7th. Neil Quick has slipped back to 8th. I'm not sure what the story is there with the 2. It seemed like he was saving his tires there for a while. The truck came to life for a lap or 2. Wasn't able to complete the pass to work his way forward. I think that was on Garrett Johnston. Johnston eventually cleared him. And then Quick now has slipped back to 8th. Chris Wally runs 9th. Josh Funkhauser in the 10th spot. Effort takes a peek back to the inside on Brian McCann down into turn number 1. So far, I don't know, it seems like this is all most of the guys can do, but Mefford really drives it deep into 1. He's going to take the lead, but a crossover coming from McCann. McCann couldn't get it done there out of turn number 1, but he's got the draft down the Long Pond straightaway. Looks to the inside yet again into this very fast tunnel turn here at the top of the triangle at Pocono. The battle has continued here for the race lead. McCann takes it back Mefford, will he go to the bottom in 3 or will he give him the bumper? Both drivers go top of the racetrack, carrying the momentum. I think that might have been a bit of an aero block from the 3. Nicely done by Brian McCann. Back to the stripe, 13 to go. Top 2, even still, with that battle starting to separate themselves from the third-place machine of Garrett Johnston. Mefford just pokes his nose, looks to the bottom, back into 1 again. Mefford unable to slide job it up the racetrack, has to lift to avoid contact from Brian McCann. Out of turn number 1, they're still side by side. You can see the space between the 3 and the 83. You can count it by a yard, if even that. McCann drives it very deep into the corner. Might have got the truck a little too low on the racetrack. A little loose. Might have got the wall on the tunnel turn. It opens the door now. Mefford with a run into turn 3. Alongside, waits a bit to go to the bottom of the racetrack. This might be a crossover getting ready to happen. No, Mefford still to the inside. McCann fights back on the top. What a battle we have here at Pocono Raceway for the race lead with 12 laps to go. Can they maintain this level of aggression and not wreck it? I don't want to doubt the talent of those top 2 drivers. I'm sure they can get it done, but they're walking a fine line, and I think Garrett Johnston knows it. Johnston again running in the 3rd position. We'll go on board with the 15. Mefford got the wall a little bit on the exit. Saw the sparks fly, and it allows Johnston to close the gap. Meanwhile, looks like McCann might be stretching it out a little as well. Johnston still hanging out in the 3rd spot, not able to reel in Mefford all that much, but he's got his hands full. Mike Cook was right to the back bumper there in the middle of turn 1. Brent Butler doing the same to Cook. Cook real loose out of 3, had to save the truck, dirt tracking it out of the corner. 10 laps remain. McCann, your leader, a 4/10 advantage now on Brandon Mefford. Sun's still peeking out, but the track temp is remaining consistent. Now the 85 of Cook works to the inside of Johnston for the 3rd spot. Side by side through turn 2. Both trucks up the racetrack. A little loose on exit. That's going to open the door for Butler, but man, he saves the race truck, keeps his foot in it. He's going to lose a little bit of ground. Now he's trying to block the 42 at Durbin. I told you got to have one eye out the windshield and the other one on the mirror, and man, Cook is real loose out of turn 3 yet again. Johnston able to hold on to the spot. Durbin got a terrible run out of the corner. He's going to lose a lot of positions. Looked to be like Durbin was in a position to jump up to 4th, maybe even 3rd, but he's going to slide back into 8th. Meanwhile, Butler tries to take advantage in there 3 wide. Briefly, now out of turn 1. Butler to the bottom of the racetrack. No drafting help for the 76. The top line, I think, will have the advantage into the tunnel turn. Real quick, not out of this one either. He's in the 7th spot. Oh, and he gets into the 21 and just spins him. Caution comes out. We're going to have to look at that one again. I thought Quick was starting to work his way through the field, but I don't know if he was taking out some aggression. I think only he knows the truth. But let's take a look, see what happened here. A late caution, our fourth of the night with 8 laps to go. Now that's going to raise some questions. They've been on the green since lap 33-ish. I think it's lap 34. I think we went back to the green, but that's a ways to go on a set of tires here. I think everybody's going to have to pit, but let's see. Let's take a look what happened just a moment ago. I'm going to back it up a little bit further so we can get a better view of this. I think we got to go to the roof cam here to really get a good idea. We're going to ride on board with Neil. This from the 2's perspective. He's tailed in here behind Leclerc. Had a good run. Leclerc's up in his lane. You see the seam in between the 2 trucks. Leclerc's still on his. And I think it's a combination of a little bit of both. Quick may have been trying to side draft the 21 a bit, dump some air on the rear spoiler of that number 21 Coast Guard machine. Quick may have moved up an inch or two, and then the 21 may have moved down an inch or two. And well, when you do that, that's when trucks make contact, and that's what you see happening. So, pit stop's underway. Zachary Cleek stays on the racetrack. You see everybody else here down on pit lane. Four-tire change seems to be the call for everybody involved. Johnston gets out. Man, big-time hole shot for Brian McCann, and he might have won the race off pit lane. Let's see. Hard to know for sure right now, but I think McCann may have won the race out of pit lane. Mefford now second off of pit lane. Zachary Cleek, though, made his stop lap 27. He stays out on old tires. I don't know if he's just trying to lead a lap, but, man, that's going to be an interesting situation if he stays out front for this restart. So we are on 7 laps to go right now. I'm thinking it'll be a 5-lap shootout to settle it. Zachary Cleek in that number 77. Usually a bright, shiny paint scheme. I don't know if it's the clouds making it look dull. I think it's just the clouds, but plenty of room for sponsors if anybody's interested in jumping on a truck. We'll see if Zach hits pit lane this time. Cole Owens is going to come down and pit. And Cleek stays out. I don't really like this call for the 77. I mean, I understand it to a certain extent. But you got 5 laps to hold off these guys on stickers. You haven't been in the pit since lap 27. And we talked about a 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds a lap of fall off as these tires wear. That's if you don't spin the tires on the restart. Brandon Mefford is in a tough spot here. He needs to be quick to react. Because even if Cleek doesn't spin the tires here, he's in a position where he's just not going to have the fire off that he needs to fend off these guys with fresh tires. I think everybody on the lead lap took fresh rubber. Field all doubled up, getting ready for the restart here as they're in the short chute between 2 and 3. Pace car is in.
Ready, green flag.
Cleek gets an okay restart here. Should be all right for a moment, but Mefford jumps to the inside. Cleek turns down into the 83. Really slows the momentum. He's just going to be a blocking machine, but McCann crosses him over. Cleek up the racetrack. Now he's got the field bearing down on him. We got trouble. Mefford up the racetrack. Caution on the speedway yet again. Big time wreck. It's going to take out more than half the field. Oh boy. I got a feeling there's going to be some unhappy people with that one. Let's see if we can unpack this. Brandon Mefford in trouble, but I think he's going to be lucky enough to still have the fast repair, provided he can get back and use it before he loses a lap. Let's take a look. If we get a look at this, again, this is already after that initial incident. We're going to go back further. I want to see the contact from the 77. All right, so this is just after the restart. This is the restart. Cleek, of course, started with the older tires, so it probably didn't fire off as quick as you would hope. So Mefford, who has fresh rubber, jumps to the inside. Cleek tries to turn down, but Mefford's already there. It pushes the 83 further down the racetrack. And then Cleek continues to come down the racetrack. It just turns right into Brandon Mefford. I don't understand this. The entire field has fresh rubber in behind him. Short of wrecking the entire field, you're not going to be able to hold these guys off. I don't care if you're the best guy out there. The tires just aren't there. McCann does a good job to jump to the inside and clear. But now we'll get into the actual wreck itself. I don't know if there was some contact there with Mefford and Johnston. It was subtle, if anything, but he's trying to correct it, come up the track, but he's 3 wide. There's really nowhere to go. So Mefford eventually gets turned off the nose. And Butler comes down and clips the 12. Adam Benefield comes in. And the 50 in that cop. A lot of drivers in this one. Does appear that Brandon Mefford made it to pit lane in time. Making yet another stop. So it looks like Mefford's still going to be up into the top 10 here. See where he ends up landing. Yeah. There it is. Here we go, folks. Keep a close eye on this. I'm not 100% sure Mefford's going to restart in that spot there, but he is just making sure that the 77 is fully aware he is not happy. So Mefford is going to drop back into his position. He's back to 11th thus far. Let's see where he ends up being. So we're getting doubled up here, so we're on the 1 to go. We're going to get a green-white checkered out of this, and it's an unofficial green-white checkered. This is a natural GWC. We have up to 3, so I guess that means we have up to 4, because this one doesn't technically count towards the allotment. So now the front row will be Brian McCann, Garrett Johnston. Zachary Kleek still going to restart in the 3rd spot here, but keep in mind he is still, even with this caution, did not pit, still on the tires that he bolted on at lap 27. Again, a 60-lap race here tonight with about 2 seconds of fall off from old to new. He'll look like a genius if he wins, but I just don't know how that's going to happen. Either way, pace car lights off. Get ready for the restart here. Again, it's McCann and Johnston, then Kleek and Quick in row 2. Cook and Funkhauser in 3. Row 4. It's Todd Kleek. And the 17 of Uberpaker, who was up on his lid earlier on. So here we go. Out of turn number 3. Ready for a restart, possibly the final restart. This could decide it. Pace cars in.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag in the air. We're back racing to settle it here from Pocono. McCann gets clear of Johnston. Has the preferred entry into turn 1. Johnston back a truck length, maybe 2. Closes the gap in the middle of turn 1. Oh, we got truck spinning off turn 1. Another wreck. Caution is out. Chris Wally and others involved. Chris Wally trying to get the truck righted. And this will send us to overtime. Get a look at it. So Wally's in the 75. Doug Wysocki just up ahead. And it looks like Doug's starting to lose the truck already as he gets close. Now the contact is made. Wally gets into him. And Chris is getting pushed from Butler as well. So make that 3 trucks involved. I think these guys are going to get Wysocki as well. Nuke Quick comes in. Cole Owens gets a piece. So how about that? So once again, I want to thank Coles County Speedway jumping on board for sponsoring this series. Came on just a little bit after the start of the season. We certainly do appreciate their participation. I do want to remind you guys, if you're watching tonight's broadcast and you're a fellow iRacer not involved in this series already, we've got a very important race coming up. 28th October. IROC puts this one on. It's the Care for Kids 200, Michigan Speedway in the trucks. $15 donation for an entry fee. Additional donations certainly welcome. There'll be 100 laps again at Michigan. Check out iroc-series.com/care-4-kids for details. So I guess the other question we have is any of these drivers, like Zachary Gleek, for instance, that pit at lap 27, again, we don't know exactly what the fuel window is, and the cautions certainly extend that. But how long before the 77 starts to have a concern about running out of fuel? The only driver that made his pit stop that long ago. Next closest was lap 53. Almost twice that. I will say that I'm honestly impressed that even pitting that long ago that Gleek is able to maintain his position where he is at right now. I know we've had a couple of cautions that have certainly aided in that feat. Brian McCann looking to make it his second win this season. Of course, picking up race number 2 at Auto Club this year. Brandon Mefford was looking to do the same and go 2 in a row. It's not an impossible feat at this point, as he does run 10th on the lead lap, but that is a tall order with how difficult it's been to pass here this afternoon, especially if you're on equal footing tire-wise. As we sit right now, we are officially 2 laps past our advertised distance. We'll start the 3rd lap past that advertised distance when we take the green flag. And of course, the green will come out. Then the next lap, should see the white flag indicating the final lap. And of course, the checkered flag there to follow. Now, if the caution comes out prior to the leader taking the white, we'll line them up and do it again. Up to 2 more attempts. Again, we got 3 here tonight. Looking at about another half hour of daylight remaining, too. So if this gets real crazy, I don't think we got to worry too much about that, but... So here we go. Let's try it again. Pace car hits pit road. Can we settle it this time? Green flag in the air. McCann on the horsepower. Jumps out to the early advantage down the straightaway here into turn number 1. Things looking pretty good so far for Brian McCann. Out of turn number 2, now to the short chute. Quick entry into turn number 3. Johnston's running second. But look who's up to P3. It's Neil Quick in that number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace paint scheme coming to the white flag. See what Neil can pick up here. He's got the pace and he's there. McCann drops it way down the racetrack to break the draft, but nobody goes with him. That really allowed Johnston to close the gap. We talked about not scrubbing off too much speed. I'm worried Brian McCann may have done just that, but he holds the top spot. Off turn number 1, a truck length, maybe 2, the bottom of the racetrack. Johnston thought about dropping down to maybe run in behind Brian McCann as he expected him to try and break the draft, but did not do it, and it's going to hurt him because Neil Quick working around the outside through turn number 2. Mike Cook, wide open throttle through the tunnel turn. He hits the wall. He's going to lose some momentum and possibly a position to Funkhauser. Meanwhile, we watch this battle for second. Quick now officially clear, a truck length and a half, maybe 2. He's going to have it, but Brian McCann is going to take the checkered flag here at Pocono by a bus length or 2. The 3 takes his second victory of the season. The 3 takes the second victory of the season. The 2 finishes in the second spot. Third was Garrett Johnston. Mike Cook was 4th. 5th was Josh Funkhauser. 6th place, Rodney Uberbaker. Brandon Mefford finishes 7th after a dominant afternoon. Brent Butler 8th. 9th, Zachary Cleek. 10th, Todd Cleek. I guess McCann just decided he's going to tear up the truck. Johnston comes in and just drills him. And I think we're not going to see any burnouts here from McCann after that hit. I think his truck is one and done. So that wraps it up here from Pocono Raceway. We're going to step out briefly here. We'll be back hopefully with our top 3 finishers, McCann, Quick, and Johnston after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Back at Pocono Raceway, race 5 in the books. Brian McCann picking up his second victory of the season, and it was a wild one here, coming to the end with a green-white checkered finish, holding off a hard-charging Garrett Johnston, and then eventually Neil Quick. Brian, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a good copy?
Yeah, I do.
Brian, congratulations, man. It seemed a little frustrating out there for you tonight. You had some pace early on, but I don't know if you're just waiting for the perfect opportunity to clear Mefford and work around him and take that race lead. Obviously, there was issues there late, but what was the difference maker? What was the plan coming into tonight and making that final pass for the race lead at the end?
Yeah, messed up qualifying. Didn't get to do a second lap because my computer froze up, but so that put me somewhere like 5th or 6th or something. And I just struggled. It's hard to pass, especially inside line. If you're going to try a pass, you got to get around them on a turn or two. Otherwise, your right front just burns up. So that was pretty much what I was learning throughout the race and how to manage my tire. And at the end, I was saving a little bit more than that. I think that helped out greatly to get around Brandon there for the first place.
We also saw that pass that you just talked about is getting to the outside was really the key. You were able to get around him and get clear, but ironically, he was able to get back to the inside and retake the race lead, but quickly washed up the racetrack. You were able to take it back. Does that really just factor into the amount of heat that trying to complete a pass on the bottom generates in that right front tire?
Yeah, when we were doing that, I would imagine both of us was pushing really hard, trying to I could tell when he went into, I believe it was 1, he tried to drive it in real deep to, wash up in front of me, but I kind of blocked that, and luckily I think that helped me out in the long run. If he would have got in front of me there, I think he probably would have stayed in front of me.
Well, you guys put on a show tonight, a wonderful performance to watch by just about everybody involved. Congratulations on that, Brian. What's your thoughts rolling into Charlotte next week? I know you love that place.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte, my favorite track, so... haven't done it in trucks, but I think it'll be a good race. I think it'll be just like we've been talking about all season so far, tire management.
Well, these trucks so far have been really good for putting on great races. We look forward to more of that. Brian, congratulations on the win. Your second of the season. Who do you want to thank?
Thank you, everybody watching tonight, my family, you for doing the broadcast, league admins, race control, sponsors, shout out to Brandon, Racing Clean there. Good race tonight. Everybody come out to race with us. Thanks.
Thanks for talking to us, Brian. Good luck next week. Brian McCann, your race winner here at Pocono Raceway. We'll talk to our runner-up, Neil Quick, next and try to get the insights from the man behind the wheel, the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. Neil Quick, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, Steve, I got you, bud.
Neil, a good run here tonight. Very interesting to watch you this evening. You had a decent starting position on the front row. Dropped back relatively quickly, but I'm not getting too concerned about that. We see that quite a bit with you as you take care of your truck quite well, take care of the tires, and usually you're in the game there late in the running, and that seemed to be the case here tonight. Was that kind of the game plan tonight? Take care of the truck, take care of the tires with that much fall off to worry about?
Yeah, I was playing a little bit of poker in the first stage of the race. I had a really, really good truck and pulled out that decent lead, and just kind of kind of fell back to Brian and Brandon, kind of letting them think they had something for me. Just unfortunately after the restart, after the first stage break, just was trying to get under Garrett a couple times, got freight train and put back, so I just kind of let it play out and work my way back up through there. But just I wish we would have had a few more laps or less cautions and could have got maybe 2 Brian on there. I think I had just as good as what he had tonight. Went and did some homework this week before the race. I know this last couple of weeks I've just haven't been on the sim a lot, just racing, and went back to some steering settings I had before and felt really, really good tonight.
Well, you're not kidding about your pace. We're looking at the best lap of the race, 54.74. That was you and Brian McCann. It was also the last lap of the race, so that's very impressive as far as that's concerned. Speaking of pace, we roll into Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. A different style racetrack, but bound to be pretty fun with these race trucks. How do you feel about your shot to pick up a win next week?
Feel confident it'll be fast, but man, you're gonna have to bring in do your homework. I mean, it should be Brian McCannville. I mean, it shouldn't be Charlotte. I mean, you go in there, you get against Brian McCann, and that's his home, and that's where you got to beat him. You beat him there, you've done something big. So, just get a little practice laps in, get a good feel for it, and go out there and try to give him hell.
Well, nice run here tonight, Neil. Congratulations on a second place, man. Who do you want to thank?
Thank you guys for the broadcast, Chris for putting the league on, and man, it was fun tonight. Got a lot of good guys in this league, and the racing was excellent. Just thank all the guys that I raced with, and of course family let me have the time to do this.
All right, Neil. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week out of Concord.
Yeah, man, I'm going to enjoy one of those MGDs now.
There you go. It's Neil Quick, your second place finisher here at Pocono Raceway. Next, we're going to talk to the 15, Garrett Johnston. Pull him up into the broadcast booth and get a word with third place. Garrett Johnston, Steve with HBR TV. You got us?
Yep, I do.
Garrett, congratulations once again. We're chatting. I guess that's a good thing, but I think one place less than I think you are expecting to finish. Maybe a shot for the win, but walk us through that final restart, the closing laps of this one, losing that second position to Neil Quick.
Yeah, no, I was just going for it a little too hard and pushed up out of one there and couldn't decide if I wanted to force him inside or outside, but I don't think it really mattered because momentum's such a killer in these things. So once you lose that, you're pretty much done for. But we pushed a little too hard. You know, I'm already in the playoffs, so I figured I might as well just go full send. And hey, I still get to chat with you, so it's not all that bad.
Top 3 finish for sure. That's always a positive. We roll that momentum into Charlotte Motor Speedway next week. Likely to be a little more stressful as that place, obviously a mile shorter than Pocono Raceway. Higher banks, higher speed. You got to think on your feet and be fast. Oh yeah, and take care of the tires. How do you feel about having another conversation with the broadcast team next week after Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say. You never want to get too ahead of yourself, but it is a track I prefer definitely over Pocono, and I've always liked it. Always feel confident there, and it is definitely a tire management situation. One of those tracks that in these things you feel like you can go wherever you want, and then 10 laps from now you're pushing up right into the wall. So I feel confident, but we will have to see.
Well, we certainly look forward to it. Again, congratulations on P3 here tonight at Pocono. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, thank you guys as usual for putting everything on. Thanks to Chris, Wally, and everyone that makes this thing happen. Shout out to everyone at home, my aunt, dad, grandma, etc. And shout out to my fiance because we're getting married on Saturday.
Well, congrats, Garrett. Good luck with that. I'm sure it'll be a good old time. Don't drink too much. She'll get mad about that sort of thing.
I will try. Well, thank you, sir.
We'll talk to you next week, probably.
All right, thank you.
Garrett Johnston, your third place finisher here at Pocono Raceway, locking it home and getting married this coming weekend. That's going to be fun for him. Congratulations to the both of them. With that, let's step out here. We'll look at our race results. Official race results. We'll see things change after the fact. We'll see. But Brian McCann, your race winner, Neil Quick, Garrett Johnston, the top 3. Mike Cook comes home in the 4th position. 5th place finisher, solid run for the 81 in 5th. Josh Funkhauser, Rodney Uberpaker on his roof on lap 1, comes back to finish 6th. that fast repair came in handy for the 17 here tonight. Brandon Mefford, a tough night for him, a dominant afternoon, but unfortunately some contact with the 77 of Cleek there late. Put him in a position where it ended up turning into a pretty significant crash for multiple drivers. I think at least half the field, but a good job for Brandon battling back to finish in that 7th position. Brent Butler came home 8th. He was strong most of the night as well. Zachary Cleek, strategy play, didn't pit after lap 27, still brought it home inside the top 10. Todd Cleek, also a top 10 finish. He finishes in 10th. Matt Kopp was 11th. Adam Benefield was 12th. Steve Durbin was 13th. 14th finisher was Brandon Leclerc. Doug Wysocki finishes in the 15th spot. Cole Owens, 16th. 17th was Larry Bruner. Newt Quick was 18th. 19th went to Chris Wally. 20th, Tim Schofield, and Kyle Turzak credited with 21st after not making the start here this evening with a mechanical issue with his pedal setup. Hopefully we can get that squared away for Charlotte next week because, man, it's fun to watch him out there. With that said, thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't already done the click of the thumbs up, man, I'm losing it. I feel like Biden right now. YouTube.com/@HBRTV1 is the channel. Click the like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications, help your fellow man and woman, let them know about it if they aren't already turned on to it. Whether they're a race driver, an iRacer, or just a casual fan, we would love for all of you to tune into these broadcasts. We do appreciate that. Also, we talked about this a couple of times this evening. Spread the word. Coming in October 28th, the Care for Kids 200, again for a good cause. $15 entry fee. Additional donations certainly welcome. Michigan, 100 laps in the trucks in the evening. 7:30 p.m. practice goes up. 8:30 p.m. qualifying. 8:35 warm-up. And an 8:45 p.m. in the East race time. Check out iroc-series.com/care-for-kids for additional details. Definitely check that out. That will also be broadcasted live here on HBR TV. We're donating that broadcast, so any additional monies that they would have spent towards that could go to that cause as well. Certainly a plus, and we look forward to doing it. It's always a good race. I've been in it. I haven't run well, but I've been in it. But it should be a blast. So check that out. Tell your friends. Anybody who's on iRacing that's interested in participating in that, I'm sure the league would appreciate it. So would, of course, that worthy cause. But again, that's going to wrap it up for us here at Pocono Raceway. Congratulations to Brian McCann taking home the top spot, his second win of the season. It's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one.